So when I was growing up, I watched this documentary called Walking with Dinosaurs. I think it came out in like 2000, around then. I was pretty young. But I don't know how old I was when I was watching it. But I know I was really like interested in girls by that stage. So anyway, there was this one episode. I'll see if I can find it and put it up on the screen. If not, okay, whatever. It was about like pterodactyls, right? And it was like the pterodactyls have to fight during mating season in order to get some pterodactyl tail. Yeah, man. Yeah, you got to get the girl pterodactyls, right? And then I remember there was like this one example that they gave, like the male who failed to win the fight, he sort of went off to die. And like I think like the guy doing the documentary was like very dramatic. He will die alone or something like this. I was like, oh shit.
Ahead lies the mating ground. For the outcast, the world has been turned upside down. His instincts force him to keep trying. His fruitless exertions under the blazing sun have taken a heavy toll.
I can't find pussy anywhere.
Is this gonna be me? And I was like, seriously, that was like one of my first existential crises. And now I'm 37 and I'm like, do I even want a woman? And that's like the question of this video. I think we're all expected to just like, as guys, I can't speak for the woman and all that. It's like we're expected to get married and, find a woman, have a relationship, and that's going to be like the center of your life. And then you just build everything around it. Like you get your woman, and then you build around that. So you get the house, the cars, the children. You work to support them. So therefore, your work is going to you're going to put effort in there, and you're going to rise up in whatever company or something. And I think that's like, even in like progressive societies, I think that's still like more or less expected in a way. And I'm like questioning if that's like even necessary. By the tone of my voice, you can even tell I'm like, I really don't know what I'm saying in this video. I'm just like giving my opinions, expressing my thoughts, man. So like for context, I'm supposed to be married by now. Like literally, not like to some woman, to a specific woman. Like I was engaged and everything. Long story short, she'll have her side of the story. And if she's watching, because I know you sometimes stalk my social media, at least give a like, okay, if not a comment. But it's like, my point of view is that I got cold feet, and I just thought I was giving up way too much, and just expected to be basically the bank account, and the guy who just works and provides and gets her pregnant, and yeah, man. And I got cold feet for that shit. And then I was like, no, man. I didn't handle it well at all. And I have a lot of fault there. So I was basically thinking, am I just going to be like that for the rest of my life? And that like brought in like the same level of existentialist terror as like when I was like this youngster adolescent watching this like pterodactyl slinking off into the swamps to be like die, by suicide via T-Rex or whatever. I broke it off. And now I'm like thinking, now that we've basically severed ties and we're not together anymore, is there any point in like getting another woman? It's like, I gotta be honest, man, like the priority is sort of gone from my life. I watched like this comedian, I don't know who it was, not like one of the top comedians, I think it was this like sort of stand-up club guy, and then he said like at 20, man, you will put up with any personality in a woman. If she's hot, you're like, okay.
At party, we're gonna get some pussy. I'm gonna fuck this bitch. I'm gonna fuck this bitch. I'll fuck anything that moves.
You want to get your nut in there. You want to do all that kind of sick, freaky shit. And it's like great. And that's like the top importance. But once you like post 30 or 40, I forget which age he said like, no, man, that seriously drops in priority for you as a man. It's like she can be hot as hell. But if she is like, the personality is not right, you're like, nah, it's alright, I'll skip. And that's kind of like what I feel nowadays. Like my tolerance, no, I don't want to say like my tolerance has dropped for people. It's rather, I know what I like, and I realize how precious time is. So I don't want to waste my time with people who are just... It's not like they're bad people. It's just like, okay, I can see that, okay, we're not compatible. Just, okay, skip, you know? So it's like, I'm thinking, if you have to go through like the fucking minefield that is like modern dating, is it even worth it? You know, do you need that to have a fulfilled life? Do you really need a woman to be fulfilled, to have all this kind of things in life? I mean, are you going to, you know, suddenly at 60 have like this pang of like fear of missing out? Oh my god, I'm going to die alone in an old age home, and, you know, no one's there to hold me, because you are like the conservatives, like the political conservatives. They always like hammer that shit in, and I'm not a conservative, I'm also not a leftist, you know, but like I always think like that's a real dumbed down kind of thing. Like, is that it? Just so you're not alone or something? I mean, I hate being alone, but if the alternative is like you have to be miserable just to be with someone or pretend to be something you're not, it's like, what's the point? You know, you might as well be alone. And, you know, if you're a complicated kind of person, maybe you're just not designed for marriage. So I think now I can like bring in Lovecraft to the picture, because there was a letter that he wrote in 1929 to Maurice W. Moe regarding his views on marriage, and if a certain type of person, such as himself, is really compatible with the institution of marriage. Is it possible? I'm willing to try, but I don't want to wreck someone's life by, you know, wasting their time or something. But anyway, let's get into see what Lovecraft says about this. He says in his letter, I don't see how the hell any couple outside of professional psychiatrists can ever tell whether or not they possess this genuine parallelism until the actual test of 2 or 3 years of joint family life has brushed aside all the transient and superficial reactions due to novelty and rashly assumed adaptability, and revealed the basic rock-bottom motivating mental and imaginative influences on each side. So obviously what he's saying is that you got to live together before you get married. Now, that's like pretty common these days, but remember, this is in 1929. It was a different world then. Marriage should aim at permanence, but should not be bound to it, especially in the case of the young and inexperienced with superstitious rigidity. And if any shudder at the possible abuses of such a liberalized system, marriage, let him reflect that an occasionally abused system is vastly better than a system contemptuously discarded in favor of no system at all. So basically in that context, he was like saying, in regards to divorce, that, you know, if it really just isn't going to work, okay, divorce, you know, because back then also divorce was like not really approved of. Like now it's so common. I think it's like the majority of marriages in some countries end in divorce, right? So this is the part where he wonders, he muses, if certain types of people are just not able to marry, if they're not designed for married life. So he says, I have no fault to find with the institution, but I think the chances of success for a strongly individualized, opinionated, and imaginative person are damn slender. Nothing in heaven or earth is so important to the man of spirit and imagination as the inviolate integrity of his cerebral life, his sense of utter integration and defiant independence as a proud, lone entity face to face with the illimitable cosmos. Independence and perfect seclusion from the futile herd are things so necessary to a certain type of mind that all other issues become subordinate when brought into comparison with them. After all, when a guy has been a secluded and set in his ways bachelor for 33.5 years, as I had been when I risked taking the plunge in 1924, the chances are that he won't take kindly to any radical domestic change. So that's what Lovecraft wrote about marriage. That this is like, if you're so set in your ways after a certain point, then maybe marriage is just not for you. Like maybe it's not like a compatibility thing. Maybe it's just like in your nature that you're just so set in your ways, like you can't teach an old dog new tricks or something. I don't believe that. fully. I gotta be honest, I don't believe it. I think Lovecraft was like really stubborn as a person, and he just did not want to change that. I think he was actually a bit of a shit husband, to actually be honest with Sonia. He was quite neglectful, and although loving, it's like he kind of saw the whole thing as a gimmick. I don't know if he really saw her, not like he didn't see her as a human being, but I don't think he realized the magnitude of what he was getting into. Being married, realizing that it's like, okay, now you gotta get a job, you gotta provide, man. Like, if you look at modern day dating and all that, I don't know, man. Like, when I met her, the one I was with and should have married, I was in 2019, but I feel like it's 2025 now. I feel like a lot has changed in this time. Like, you know, with the meme virus, when that kicked off, it's like how after 9/11, like just the vibe of life changed a lot. It's like post the meme virus, it's like a lot has changed as well, and there's like affected dating as well. Of course, there's a lot of logical reasons to be blackpilled about like the whole marriage thing, and say no, don't ever do it, that kind of thing. You know, like the divorce rates, the statistics, the likelihood of that happening in the West is very high. Then you got like child support alimony thing, which can like really sink a guy financially. You know, she divorces you, she takes half your stuff. You can get a prenuptial agreement, but I've heard that those things are not exactly 100% concrete all the time. And then yeah, there's also like just trends in and like dating in this day and age. Like, I think like there's a lack of trust on both sides, because both sides have been burned so much. Like, men, you know, being like ghosted, dumped easily, or just gave up, that type of thing. And from like the woman's perspective, it's like the guys that they go for, it's all on dating apps. Those are like the top % guys, and they just in it there for like they go like pussy crazy. So they just like after the next. So it's like everyone is just after the next dopamine hit and the next quick thing, because everything in this modern era is about dopamine hits and convenience and quickness, and not really about building up something sincere. But despite all that, despite the statistics and whatever, I still believe in marriage. I still think it's a good thing. I think it's great to have someone. I don't think it's like bad to dedicate your life to someone and they do it for you too, you know, return it, or to have, you know, a family. I think that's great. That's like the nucleus of society. It starts with the family, you know, and I think that's very important. And I hate to see it like tarnished and things like that. And I love to see it when it really works out. But I think it's rather, I don't think it's good like you decide like, oh, now I'm a certain age, I must get married. That's it, la-di-da-di-da, you know. I think it's better to you be with the right person, but when you are, you dedicate yourself to them. And yeah, I guess it takes a little bit of trust, you know. But now there's this era where both sides don't seem to trust each other, you know, for various reasons. It's kind of like that scene from The Thing, if you remember, where McCready says,
nobody trusts anybody now. We're all very tired.
It's kind of like that. That's like the vibe with dating, because everyone's sort of cynical and burned out about it, and, you know, hoping that they become like the minority example of like the couple who met on Tinder but ended up getting married, or the guy who found a virgin and then like they're together still like 20 years later, and you know, or the people who met like long distance, and despite the odds they actually made it work, and they didn't like cheat on each other because they're like long distance, you know, things like that. Because I've seen examples of all those things, but yeah, statistically they are the minority, but I have seen them, so I know they exist and I know they're out there. So I think, yeah, it's good to like end the video with like a hopeful message, you know, instead of being like black-pilled and stuff. Just be careful. That's all I'd say. And I guess don't just marry for the sake of it, but also be careful about who you let into your life. And if you let them in, just be 100% about it, you know. Don't like half-ass it. And yeah, guess that's kind of the mistake I made with her, but you know, hopefully we can fix things. I don't know. So anyway, guys, that's my video. I guess I don't really have any conclusions there. Just bringing some thoughts to the table, and maybe a perspective that, is not like, yeah, we're all equal. Men and women should be partners, and then the other side's like, women are all harpies, suck you by there. I just want your bank account, So maybe it's like my perspective. I'm not saying I'm right or anything, but that's just like my point of view. And like the only thing I can think of like right now, barring having a solid answer, is just like focus on myself. And I guess that would be like my advice, if I could even say. Just like focus on building yourself, and not even like necessarily in like a career way. Like focus on hustling, so you have a fat bank account, so you can get a woman. Oh, then you've made it. No, man, just like focus on building yourself as a man. Build character, strength, all these things. Money comes eventually. But yeah, just focus on that. That's all I can say, because out of all these videos I've seen about relationships and all this, one piece of advice really stuck with me is that men are islands and women are boats. If you just end up like chasing women, maybe you get successes here and there, and then you think you're the pussy slayer or whatever. But if you can attract women, then that's how you keep them, I think. So that's like the boats come to the island. So build up your island. That sounds like it makes sense. And yeah, so I'll leave it there. You guys tell me what you think about the whole situation down below. Am I going to die alone, or should I use my very red and beautiful and powerful passport, my Swiss passport, and go off to Thailand? I love you, Thailand. Hi, ladyboy.
Yeah, my name's Mark. I'm into Asian poontang, and I've been single for a while now, so I thought I'd order a Asian bride.
Hello, my name Ning. I have a penis, a ladyboy from Thailand, and I looking for Australia visa. You like? $30 more for the massage.
Yeah, so I'm sick of being home alone. I've flown her straight over, and we're gonna be getting married today. Or love it to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name Ning. Yeah, don't talk to me. Just sign the paperwork. I need a visa, Just sign the paperwork. By the way, I have big cock. Look, this big. But it's okay. You give me the money, I get pussy for you.
Yeah, I fucked up.